Hi, welcome to another episode of Foxy Little Nuggets. We're going to have a quick roundup of some of today's news items. Or actually, I'm slightly late, so yesterday's news items. My apologies. I got caught up in the football. Germany game was great, 7-1. Well done, Curacao, for scoring. Anyway, Britain has had another normal day. Commandos seized a Russian oil tanker. Goes to show. If that's what you can do with very little money, imagine how good our armed forces would be if they had lots of money. Labour started eating itself today, of course. West Street discovered eco-fracking. Well, wonderful for him. Welcome to the party, mate. Only about 10 years behind everyone else. And England arrived at the World Cup without their boots. So, yeah, structurally, everything's fine. So welcome to Foxy Little Nuggets. The news, lightly toasted, spread with the finest butter and served with a faint smell of institutional collapse. Now, let's start up with that Royal Marine story at the beginning there. They've seized one of the Russian, what they call Shadow Fleet ships. It's an oil tanker in the English Channel. And the vessel, which is called the Smertos, is sanctioned and allegedly part of the murky maritime network, helping Russia keep selling oil despite Western restrictions. British forces boarded it in a 6-hour operation, and President Zelensky thanked the UK for taking action. What's it got to do with him? Now, this is awkward for Vladimir Putin because he's found out. He's had his day ruined, really, hasn't he? Because there's nothing quite like discovering your secret oil tanker has been nicked by men from Dorset in camouflage gear. Deary me. Starmer, of course, has to take it. You know, he's put the old. He's done a John Terry. He's put his uniform on. He was there on the bridge. You know, only his uniform was Boy Scout, I think. He gets off on that, doesn't he? And said it was a blow against Russian aggression, which technically I suppose is true. But given the state of Britain's armed forces, it may also have been a blow against the Treasury. You have to wonder how much this cost and who's going to pay. You know, did the Royal Marines have permission to use this? Did they have the funding? Who's going to pay for the fuel? You know, this is the problem now. The Treasury haven't got enough money for this. Still, credit where it's due. Well done, bootnecks. As ex-army, you can call them that. But it's nice to see they actually did something decisive, to be fair, just as an aside. Normally, they just sort of let them go and go, oh, well, it's our plan to do this, and then they never do. But anyway, there we go. But they've got actual commandos, actual boarding, actually doing something, not just announcing it. Nice. And just for once, it's not one of those little laminated action plans they like to wheel out and hand to the press. Lovely. Big boys with ropes and weapons, and the basic assumption that piracy is bad unless we're doing it. Super. But now the tanker is reportedly off the Dorset coast, which means the Russian Shadow Fleet has finally achieved the British dream, being immobilised near Bournemouth while everyone argues about parking. Ain't that true? Have you ever tried parking in Bournemouth? I was at Bournemouth Beach once, and there was a little fish restaurant there, and I went in, and Spurs manager. Used to play for Spurs, I think. I can see his face, can't think of his name. Used to be the England manager until he made a comment about disabled people. I can see his face, can't think of his name. Anyway, he was sitting in there. And I got out and I got into my, at the time, Vauxhall Cavalier, and he got into his Bentley. Yeah, never mind. Anyway, we'll move on. Labour's defence row, since we're talking about Marines, we'll carry it on. It continues to devour the government like a combine harvester. That name of that manager will come to me. I know you're all shouting at the screen. Oh, Hoddle. Glenn Hoddle. There we go. It was Glenn Hoddle. Anyway, Labour's defence row continues to devour the government like a combine harvester in a petting zoo. John Healey resigned as Defence Secretary last week, of course, saying the government's defence investment plan wasn't serious enough for the threats Britain faces. Al Khan's then quit too. Dan Jarvis is now taken over, but it's going to take him months to get to a point where he understands anything. Well, probably slightly longer, because Dan Jarvis isn't bright. You may not have noticed this. He's not the brightest button in the box. He thinks he's been promoted, but actually he's been handed this smoking toaster in a bath. This is not something he can do, because he's not going to get any more money. then he's going to have to say this isn't good enough. He'll take advice from the generals, and then he too will probably have to resign. I reckon Dan Jarvis won't be in that position long. The problem is Britain wants to look strong abroad, but doesn't want to have to pay for it. 50-50. You can't have one without the other. Hey-ho. Challenging, I think the term in Whitehall is. Oh, well. Yeah, Mission Impossible, really, isn't it? There we go. Burnham, of course, let's move on. Burnham, of course, is fighting the Westerfield, what about the Makerfield by-election. And so while he's there, Wes Streeting has decided now's the time for him to pip up because, everyone's distracted by that. And this is his chance to shine, if even just for a day. And so he's backed this new North Sea oil drilling idea. Thus annoying Miliband, the ire of Miliband. It does mean that him and Miliband cannot sit in the same cabinet meeting. So I don't know. If whoever Burnham picks first, the other one won't be able to go there, will it? But he wants to, what he calls, marry net zero and growth agendas. Net zero means no growth, and growth means you can't have net zero. So it goes to show that Wes Streeting hasn't got the best grasp of reality or understand anything about anything, I think. But drill for more fossil fuels, tax the proceeds and buy green technology. Yeah, it's just weird, isn't it? You cannot have growth and green. It's as simple as that. Anyway, fine. Tommy Robinson was detained, of course, moving on. Tommy Robinson was detained at Heathrow Airport under counter-terrorism powers, after Border Force stopped him. They wanted to see who he had or his contacts on his phone. Now, this isn't, of course, anything to do. They don't think that Tommy Robinson's a terrorist or anything like that. What they want is access to his phone because they want to know all his contacts, what he's been saying, what he's been doing, and then possibly use that against him to lock him up again. If I was Tommy Robinson, I'd have a whole series of phones. I'd have the one I travelled with, and then I'd have someone else hold the one I actually use. You can have that one for free. And just quickly, there is a great one. Britain was this is cracking. England's World Cup preparation were disrupted after training kit was stolen en route to Kansas City. 2 men have apparently been arrested and charged, and some of the gear has been recovered, but not all of it. So a tournament excuse already. We couldn't win the World Cup, lads. We had our football boots stolen. Somewhere, Gareth Southgate's waistcoat is trembling in retirement. Still, most of the kit is back, but not all of it. So hopefully, at least 8 of the 11 players will be able to play. Who knows? But anyway, there we go. It's just one of those little things that happens from time to time. But it's nice to see, as Aaron finally, that we do have our excuse for this World Cup. Doesn't often happen, doesn't it? Well, the lads gave it the best. Lads, we were unlucky in that, blah, 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 blah. And then they always come up with 100 reasons. Now we've got it pre-baked. Well, it's very hard to play the World Cup when someone's stolen your boots. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoy it. Hit subscribe, hit like, and I will speak to you later. Bye.